What's good, champions? Welcome to the first video on Ben Plays God Tier. Channel dedicated to talking about the ooey gooey greatness that is the game of God Tier. Follow along on my journey as I start from a absolute novice to hopefully continuing on and eliminating some of the many mistakes that I've been making. So I've got a handful of plans for the channel. The first is following along with this series, the Journey Journal, just kind of talking about my experiences as I am getting up to speed with the game of God Tier. I'm also a very big into game kind of strategy and tactics, and so hoping to look at some of my own games, doing a game analysis series, looking at picks, bans, matchups, all the mistakes that I'm making, looking for opportunities to improve, learn more about the game of God Tier. Also planning to do a series of videos on different strategy topics, drafting, game tactics, finding a coach, doing some gameplay coaching. A lot of times those discussions are really helpful for learning a game. As well as kind of another idea with doing some puzzles. So just like with chess puzzles can oftentimes be a really great way of learning some of the nuances to strategy. I think finding some good puzzles with, finding the optimal line of play within God Tier would be something that would be very enjoyable. Also looking to produce a series of resources, things like a tabletop simulator cheat sheet and video walkthrough. There was a little bit of learning that I had to do there to get comfortable with the application, and hoping to shorten that onboarding period for anyone interested in kind of learning more about playing God Tier online. Also really hoping to produce a series of content creator resources for anyone else interested in producing content. Things like skill boxes or hero cards kind of normalized in the same format and size to enable anybody else coming after me interested in generating their own content. Finally, hoping to do a series of community interviews. I think that one of the greatest things I found about this game is the community, how absolutely wonderful everyone is and interested in kind of growing the community or helping out those that are new to the game. And really like to highlight some of those that kind of have made an impact on my own journey so far. So moving into kind of the Journey Journal series, talking about the Genesis. I'm a lifelong tabletop gamer. I've cut my teeth probably the most on Magic the Gathering, but also really like the board games. Have always been kind of intrigued by war games, but was really intimidated by the high barrier of entry, both the difficulty in learning to play, the amount of rules, as well as just the cost in getting involved in some of those. Kind of at the beginning of the pandemic, was really looking for some new games and something to kind of spend my time on, and dipped my toes into a whole bunch of frequently recommended war games. One Page Rules, Relic Blade, Malifaux, all of which are fantastic games in their own right, but didn't really stick with me and my play groups. And so kind of, I'll say, set those aside for a little while, and then happened across God Tier kind of by accident. It was kind of a recommendation made on a blog post that I was reading, and they described it as one of the best games for kind of having a really low barrier of entry. One of my friends was nice enough to kind of see me drooling over the game and bought me a starter box, and I was just instantly hooked. I had done enough experimentation with some of those other war games to just see the absolute brilliance that went into the game design for God Tier. I describe it as really optimizing the most fun aspects out of skirmish wargaming and trying to really minimize those feel bad moments or the things that are kind of enjoyment drains when you play. Games are pretty fast. The game itself is extremely easy to learn, borderline impossible to master, and those are the type of games I think that appeal to a really wide audience, and especially to me who kind of enjoys digging in deeper into the strategy and theory behind games. So month one, I've been playing for about a month now. Like I said, got gifted the starter box, played the demo game. It was very obvious the quality of the game and how much I would enjoy it over a long period of time. So I kind of instantly bought enough champions to demo 2v2 to two different gaming groups at the same time at my local gaming store. I started playing with my daughters, who's one of which is pictured here. This is fastly becoming a favorite game in my household. Joined the community Discord, and then really kind of went to town one night. I think I read over 50 posts on the Objective Hex blog, and just the amount of depth to the strategy and interesting aspects of this game was absolutely astounding. I joined God Tiers for God Fears, which is a community-run tournament on Tabletop Simulator. Lost my very first game and had an absolute blast doing it. I was watching a stream of another game that I think the previous night where they talked about just how fun God Tier is to lose, and I think that's another really great description of the game. Even when you're losing it, there's a lot of fun to be had. So wanted to do a couple quick shout outs here as I'm getting to the end of the video. First is to the Community God Tier Discord. This place is absolutely amazing. I highly recommend you check it out if you're not there already. Everyone is very friendly, talking about rules questions, coordinating online games, talking about strategy. Like I said, one of my favorite aspects of this game so far has been the community, and engaging with them on Discord is something that I cannot recommend enough. Also really want to give a huge shout out to the Objective Hex blog and Grumpy. The amount of content on there that is just extremely high quality, very interesting, and really is helpful, I think, both to new players and experienced players alike. Really looking forward to continuing to follow along with that site. So as a quick wrap up, if you like or are interested in this type of content, like this video, comment, subscribe. That kind of helps with the algorithm and helps others find my content. Let me know in the comments what kind of content you're most interested in. You know, what are some of the things that you like the most about God Tier? And last and not least, until next time, have fun and roll well. Bye, guys.